Today on Dr. Phil. They claim their sister is
a liar, thief, and an addict.
Who is in major denial.
Rebecca says she just doesn't have a problem. You've lost custody of your daughter not once but twice.
Because my friend died at my house.
You're in the middle of a conversation with me, and then you just start leaning forward.
Exit.
Rebecca, if you're going to make a dramatic exit, you need to go down the aisle. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today is going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
Get ready to take care of you. And Jennifer described their sister Rebecca as a liar, thief, and an addict. They say Rebecca's choices have led her to living in a van, stealing from their sick mother, and losing custody of her 8-year-old special needs daughter. But Rebecca says she doesn't believe she has a problem and that all of her drugs are provided by doctors. So what's the problem?
I contacted the Dr. Phil Show because my sister has a serious drug problem and is in deep denial.
Rebecca currently is addicted to her prescription drugs.
Dilaudid, Suboxone, Alprazolam, Adderall, and Gabapentin.
Rebecca has used cocaine, fentanyl, heroin, marijuana.
When Rebecca takes a drug test, it lights up like a Christmas tree. But that's okay because she's prescribed all of those narcotics. So in her eyes, she doesn't have a problem at all.
She does not take her prescription drugs the way she's supposed to. She injects them. She has put them in her rectum. She also has snorted them. Rebecca has lost custody of her daughter twice.
One of Becca's friends overdosed at her house and passed away. CPS got involved and she tested positive for fentanyl.
Rebecca's daughter, Harper, was in the house. That's why they took her away. My mom was able to get her back because she made Rebecca leave. Her daughter's father passed away 2 years ago from an infection due to drug use.
Rebecca lives in her minivan most of the time. She has stayed with me and she was super out of it and we would just start nodding out.
Her addiction affects the entire family. I don't want my kids to be exposed to her. They don't want to either.
Something she likes to say a lot is, gosh, everything bad always happens to me. Oh, my life is so hard. Oh, I started using drugs because I had such a rough childhood. And I'm like, I had the same childhood as you. And I'm just fine.
Okay. Caitlin, Jennifer, it's good to meet you both.
Nice to meet you.
Do you think she really doesn't know she has an issue here?
I think deep down she knows, but I don't think she'll say it out loud or admit to having a problem.
We do pre-interviews and ask you guys a lot of questions. Here's what she has said to us. She says that she's coming here because you wrote, not because she felt like she needed any help. But she says she's coming here because of her struggles with her daughter's father being deceased, because she has an autistic child, and because she's being essentially homeless. And then she gave us a bumper sticker. She said, "Don't judge me from my past. I don't live there anymore."
That's a good one.
Yeah, it was like a bumper sticker.
Right.
It's clever, but has nothing to do with the reality of her life because she's living exactly the way she's been living for years, right?
Exactly.
And when she's lost her daughter, what does she say about it?
She just makes excuses. It's never her fault. It's because something happened to her, and that, you know, she's being railroaded.
She says you guys are just judgmental, that you should stand in her shoes, that you haven't lost a loved one the way she has, and that if you were in her shoes, you would understand why she needs these prescriptions and that she gets them from a doctor. Last time she lost her daughter, she tested positive for fentanyl.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And does she say that was prescribed?
No.
She doesn't know how it happened. She said that when she was giving the person CPR, that it must have gotten to her skin somehow because he had overdosed on fentanyl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hate it when that happens.
Right.
Now, we have a picture of her hand, and she says that this is some kind of lupus or spider bite, or she has these explanations. I've been doing this a long time. This looks to me like she's shooting up between her fingers and it's getting infected and starting to spread and could easily go septic.
Yes.
Yes.
What do you say? What do you tell her when you see this?
Well, me personally, I tell her, I'm like, I know what this is from. It's from you know, using needles. And she's like, oh, no, it's not, Caitlin.
Do they give her a prescription for pain for this?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. Coming up, Caitlin and Jennifer say their mother, Kathy, is the #1 enabler in Rebecca's life. So we're going to add her to this conversation when we come back, and we're going to talk about the fact that she may be doing something that actually is fatal, a deadly cocktail. We'll be right back.
I have taken Rebecca to pick up Xanax so she won't have a seizure. Becca has taken over $2,000 from my checking account. I love Rebecca, but I hate almost everything about her.
And later...
No, I'm not feeling very well. Okay, I'll call a member of your family, okay? I'll call you back.
That's interesting.
You don't remember that?
Rebecca, if you're going to make a dramatic exit, you need to go down the aisle.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Just how bad is homelessness in America?
It's an epidemic. There's camps everywhere.
Why is it getting worse?
Our safety net has been devastated. We need to address mental health.
Children are not able to walk to school without stepping on drug paraphernalia.
If I was having a hard time, I would hope to God I wouldn't be put out in the freaking street.
That's tomorrow. Then, on Monday, she's 73 and raising another grandchild.
This was not your life plan.
You can write enabler on me. I know what I am.
Yeah, I've got a Sharpie. Don't tempt me.
That's Monday.
My mom is 100% the biggest enabler I've ever met in my life.
My mother is financially supporting my sister's daughter, Harper.
Harper is on the spectrum. I have 2 children myself who are also on the spectrum. It is not easy by any means.
My mom is not a healthy woman, so it's very hard for her to take care of Harper.
I don't think my mom at her age should be having to do that.
Well, Caitlin and Jennifer are desperate for help for their 36-year-old sister, Rebecca, who they say is addicted to prescription drugs, and they can only speculate about what else. Their mother, Kathy, says she has enabled Rebecca because no one else will help her daughter, and she doesn't want her granddaughter to suffer. But she says her patience is running thin.
I have been struggling with Rebecca for the last 18 years. I put up with her because she is a single mom and has a special needs daughter. I do not remember Rebecca ever drinking or doing drugs in her teenage years. She was in a car accident when she was 18, and she was prescribed oxycodone, and I believe that's when her addiction started. Rebecca has had seizures in the past from not taking Xanax because she has run out of them. I have taken Rebecca to a friend's house to pick up Xanax so she won't have a seizure. Rebecca tested positive for fentanyl. The cops came and removed Harper from our house. I have custody of Harper now, and I'm doing everything for her. I put money to my checking to pay some bills, and when I went to pay the bills, I didn't have any money. And I found that over the course of 6 weeks, Becca has taken over $2,000 from my checking account. I love Rebecca. She disappoints me, and I hate almost everything about her.
Well, joining us virtually is Kathy. Kathy, thank you for joining us, and God bless you for stepping up and taking care of this child. What is your biggest concern for your daughter, Rebecca?
That she'll die.
And do you think that she has any awareness of the risk and doesn't care, or do you think she's actually in denial and thinks that what she's doing is okay?
I think she's in denial and thinks what she's doing is okay, and she thinks she's better than she used to be.
How often does she come and see her daughter?
3 to 5 times a week. We go bowling, we've gone to visit our cousins and played on the playground, go to Chuck E. Cheese out to eat. She plays with her. She is like the grandmother while I am the mother.
Okay. She doesn't do the daily grind things with her?
No.
That's up to you.
Right now, yes. But it shouldn't be my 100% responsibility. She needs to be responsible for her child. And in the state she's in, she can't do it.
Now, according to the family, you've spent $100,000 on Rebecca, provided her shelter, food, paid her bills, car repairs. You do care for the daughter. You've paid her lawyer fees when she's in trouble, and you don't really hold her feet to the fire when she does things that she should be accountable for. Do you think that's helping her, or do you think it's making it easier for her to continue this self-destructive lifestyle?
A little bit of both. My main goal is to always help Harper. But in helping Harper, I think she needs to be around her mom. So I tolerate and put up with Rebecca and what she does. I tolerate.
So you feel like you're putting up with this because it at least keeps her in the orbit of her daughter?
Yes.
If you didn't do that, you think she would completely withdraw and you just wouldn't see her?
Harper would be the one that would suffer.
Uh-huh. Because you think she wouldn't come around as much?
Not if I didn't let her. If I and you can't.
Right.
Harper be the one that would suffer for that. She woke up this morning typing on her voice, I want mommy. Last night before she went to bed, I want mommy. I put up with mommy because of Harper.
Listen, you're between a rock and a hard place. I understand it. Rebecca says she just doesn't have a problem. She doesn't understand why she's even here today. Her sisters and mother say she's in denial that she's a drug addict, and she says she's just here because they don't understand what she's having to deal with, having lost some loved ones in her life. And so she's puzzled. She has no idea why she's here. I intend to clear that up for her. We'll be right back.
I did have an issue with pain pills, but that was years ago. I take hydromorphone, gabapentin, amoxicillin. This is Adderall, and then this is buprenorphine. If I wasn't on my pain medicine, I wouldn't be able to get out of bed in the morning.
As of right now, I feel like Becca does not put her daughter first. I think that she chooses drugs over her daughter. When Harper was born, they had to keep her in the hospital.
It was told to me that she was born with some breathing problems. Come to find out, she was being weaned off Subutex.
I think Becca is capable of being a great mother, but Harper needs consistency, and she needs her mom to be there for her.
Caitlin, Jennifer, and Kathy all say Rebecca is in complete denial that her life is a disaster and that she is a drug addict. Rebecca says her family is judgmental and is just simply holding her past against her. She says she has moved on. She says she's gone through a lot of loss in her life, and the only thing she wants is to get her daughter back.
I'm confused about why I'm here. I think I was a bad person in a past life. That's the family joke. I did have an issue with pain pills, but that was years ago. Just like my favorite quote, don't judge me by my past because I don't live there anymore. I've lost so many people, I need a pen and paper to write it down. All my friends are dead. Losing my daughter's father was really, really hard. I haven't had time to grieve because it's one person after another after another. Recently, my friend overdosed and ended up dying. He was sitting in my zebra print chair snoring, but then something just didn't sound right, so I called 911. They said that he was brain dead. He took some type of non-narcotic muscle relaxer. I know that he took one of those because he told me. I lost my train of thought. Because my daughter was at the house during this incident, they took her from my custody. They drug tested me, claimed I tested positive for fentanyl. Because I live with my mom, I'm not allowed to reside with my daughter and my mom. So I have been living in my van. So here's my van. I usually try to sleep right here. If I wasn't on my pain medicine, I wouldn't be able to get out of bed in the morning. I take hydromorphone, which is Dilaudid, for pain for my fingers. This is gabapentin for depression, and it also can be used for my sciatica. This is my amoxicillin, because I just had my teeth pulled. This is Adderall. It is for my ADD. And then this is buprenorphine, which is also Subutex. If I don't have my Xanax, I'll have a seizure. So when I first get them, I break it in half and hide them somewhere. So if anything happens to the bottle, then I'll have those just in case.
Okay. You say that they're putting you in a frame of who you used to be, not who you are.
I've said that, yes.
Yeah.
I'm kind of confused, to be honest, about just everything that's going on. Or,
Okay.
you know, like my sister told me that she wrote to you. I mean, I don't know what the premise of the show is.
you know, my sister obviously is concerned about what happened with my daughter, and that was, I don't know if that's been talked about. That was really...
We have talked about the fact that you've lost custody of your daughter not once, not twice, but 3 times. That's very unusual. Why is that happening?
I believe she was only taken twice, not 3 times. And the first time, her father was alive then. And I believe what happened, someone called maliciously. They came out. I tested negative for all drugs. And I believe Jonathan tested positive for something.
Why can't you be with her now?
What they're saying is my friend, he came over. I've known him for 20 years. He drank chocolate milk, and the next thing you know, he's like snoring. He sounded funny. I screamed for my mom. She had just gotten home. And we called 911. He went to the hospital, and they said he had a heart attack, and he was brain dead 3 days later. So that's what they're saying. It's an overdose, but I never knew him to do that kind of thing at all. It's really hard to talk about that day. The bottom line is I love my daughter very much. I've dealt with losing one person after another that I really love. And I'm doing everything, like a lot of people that, you know, like my case manager, for example, she's never seen anybody be so proactive in getting their child back. I called and called and called every single day to try to figure out what to do. But when Jonathan was alive, his father had passed away, so he was really going through it. They took our daughter. Then they made me leave the home because they said, I mean, I don't really know the reason.
You don't know why they asked you to leave, why they said you had to leave?
Apparently, they claimed that me and him were not good together. But if we were married, you know, I don't see why they would separate us. But he was grieving to the point where he started, you know, using drugs. And
okay. I don't believe that you lost custody of your daughter and don't know why.
I'm trying to explain that.
And you don't know why.
I feel like I'm being attacked by you. I respect you a lot.
I'm asking you a common sense question.
Closed captioning provided by...
I don't believe that you lost custody of your daughter and don't know why.
They make you do a case plan, and part of our case plan was we were not allowed to be together. So he was grieving the death of his father, our daughter being gone.
But they took her away from you.
From the both of us.
No, you. They didn't say you can't be with him. They said she couldn't be with you. You don't know why they said she couldn't be with you.
So I'm trying to explain that.
Yes. And you don't know why.
I feel like I'm being attacked by you. I respect you a lot.
I'm asking you a common sense question. Do you know why they said?
Because my friend died at my house.
We were talking about the time before. They said you, the mother, could not be with the child. I just want to know if you know why.
No, actually, I don't know.
That's not a hard question. That's not an attack. That's a simple question.
Now I understand what you mean. I have no idea. They said because we're together that, you know, they took her. I didn't test positive for anything. I did everything they asked me to do, passed all their drug tests, did everything.
That's not how that works. You can say that. You can tell that to other people. You can tell that to other people, but you can't tell that to me because I know that's not how that works. I work in that system. You want her back.
Absolutely, and I'm doing everything. I'll be done with everything that they're asking of me. I have parenting classes. I've been taking 2.5 hours every single week. I'm their star student.
Are you going to move her into your van with you?
No, I'm not going to move her into my van. That was a cheap shot, Dr. Phil. I'm just saying, when I'm allowed to go back home, I plan on staying with my mom until, you know, things get better.
So you think they're going to say, okay, we give you a clean bill of health so you can now move in with your mother who's raising your daughter?
My mom is like a second parent to her, and I believe a child should be in a home with 2 loving adults, you know?
If possible, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Caitlin and Jennifer say that their sister doctor shops, and in order to get all of her prescriptions, and say what she's doing is illegal. I say if she is doing that, it's highly dangerous. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Can I say something about what I just saw? What I was explaining was not what I'm doing now. It was years ago, I was arrested for quote-unquote doctor shopping. That's not what I'm currently doing, nor was I doing that previously.
Tomorrow on the
Closed captioning provided by
Better skin from your body wash? Try Olay Body Wash.
I got arrested for doctor shopping.
Doctor shopping is when you go around to different doctors and they prescribe you the same medication.
Becca has gone to different doctors in the past to get multiple prescriptions of the same thing.
She manipulates doctors to get her whatever prescription she wants.
What they were accusing me of is trying to get a bunch of medicine. If that was indeed what I was doing, I would have gone to a doctor that I was already seeing and get 3-4 milligrams a day. That's really what doctor shopping is. But this was just really just a misunderstanding.
Well, Caitlin and Jennifer and Kathy say that they desperately want Rebecca to stop living in denial about her addiction to prescription medication. They say she steals, defrauds doctors, won't look for a job, and expects everyone else to take care of her. But Rebecca says that is absolutely not true, that she is a star pupil as far as everything that social services could possibly want her to do to reestablish herself as a candidate to be in her daughter's life, right?
Yes, can I say something about what I just saw? What I was explaining was not what I'm doing now. It was years ago, I was arrested for quote-unquote doctor shopping. That's not what I'm currently doing, nor was I doing that previously. If you want me to explain so it can be understood by everyone, I went to my normal doctor. I've been on, Xanax. I've had anxiety since I was 15 years old. I went to my normal doctor for that. I went to my primary care doctor, having bronchitis. My mom was with me, she can tell you. And when I was in between my psychiatrist, he would intermittently give me Xanax. And then we leave, we go to the pharmacist. And he told me that, after I filled the prescriptions, I'm like, why is there Xanax in here? It's a very small amount. The whole bottle was 8 milligrams in total. Now, if I was doctor shopping, I take 4 milligrams of Xanax a day. That just sounds silly. But there's a system in place to prevent people from doing this doctor shopping, going and getting a bunch of pills at pill mills. And that system, I guess, failed me. 2 years later, they arrested me for that. So I felt like that wasn't very fair. And
you're now taking Dilaudid, Xanax, Adderall, and Subutex?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and we asked you who you were getting those prescriptions from, and you said you could only remember one of the doctors.
No, that is not true. I don't know.
That is true. I have it recorded.
But maybe
verbatim.
That's when I was, when
you may not remember, because during our pre-interview, Rebecca, you weren't making a lot of sense during some of our pre-interviews, so maybe you don't remember, because this is part of our conversation during the pre-interview, because we record these. Let's listen to this.
Okay.
Okay, and so I know you said sometimes your mom puts you down. What did she say to you? Rebecca?
I'm here.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me? Do you want me to call you back? Rebecca?
I'm here.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. How would you describe your quality of life right now? Okay, Rebecca, do you want me to call you back?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you feeling okay?
No.
Okay, is something going on? Like, do you need medical assistance or something?
No. I'm not feeling very well.
Okay, I'll call a member of your family, okay? I'll call you back.
Okay.
That's interesting.
You don't remember that?
I remember saying that she would call me back. That sounded awful. No, like, that's crazy.
Imagine being around
But I'm not
and
like
being in
I'm
my
not
shoes.
like
You
that.
have been in my presence.
But
That's
when, Caitlin?
at my house, Becca. You're in the middle of a conversation with me, and we're talking, and then you just start leaning forward.
Oh,
and
you mean when I was when I was
say you're sleeping, but then you say you're not sleeping.
It was the middle of the night.
Becca.
Oh, she filmed it for TV.
I did not film it. I took a picture.
You told
planning
me
on
about
showing
the
you.
Oh, that's when my hand was messed up.
I know.
And I was going to the
But
hospital.
Becca, imagine being me.
you're-
It's scary to see someone.
You're playing into deflection on her part by her not
this is messed
responding
up,
to.
y'all. This all of this
love
is being
you.
edited, and it's crazy. And you even looked at me like,
what do you-
exit.
Rebecca, if you're going to make a dramatic exit, you need to go down the aisle here.
Yeah. No, that's really. It's just really messed up. Like,
I knew it too.
yeah, place.
She shouldn't be on these drugs and get her kid back. So either they don't know about it or they don't know the seriousness of it or something. But I will call if it's okay, because I think they should know.
Now that some of the COVID-19 restrictions have been lifted, we can have a studio audience back.
If you're going to be in the Los Angeles area and would like to attend a taping, go to drphil.com and click on Be Part of the Audience and select In Studio.
No, absolutely not.
Can I come in?
If you're trying to help me, get that camera out. Get that camera away.
All right, we need to stop recording. She's not coming back out. So it's a wrap, guys. We're done.
I'm introducing Dr. Charles Sophie. He is a psychiatrist. He's former medical director of the LA County Department of Child and Family Services. I'm only bringing that up because it's the system that we were talking about. He's the expert. And Dr. Sophie says that Rebecca's prescriptions are, in fact, a deadly cocktail. What do you mean by that?
More than one together or two or three together is deadly. I mean, Subutex is a blocker of her opioid receptors in her brain. So she's not going to feel pain. She's going to keep, it's not going to, the Dilaudid isn't going to work. She's going to keep taking Dilaudid till she gets rid of the pain, but it's never going to be felt. She could overdose on Dilaudid just by trying to get rid of pain. That's never going to go because it's blocked. Those two drugs alone are dangerous together because they do opposite things. The gabapentin is an anti-seizure drug. It's not necessarily for depression. So she's not going to have a seizure with the gabapentin, so she can take more and more Xanax and never have a seizure, or be without it and have a seizure and die and not know she's having a seizure necessarily because it's covered by the GABA. So you have all these drugs doing opposite things to each other.
So no properly trained physician would ever prescribe that list of medications together.
Correct.
And with this particular list of prescriptions here, the effects are organ deterioration, coma, death, sedation, loss of appetite, confusion, heart failure, liver failure. All of these things combine to really destroy the person's health. And you heard her talking on the phone. She was in a complete altered state of consciousness.
Yes. She's
What's
in
your
one
read of that?
Well, yes, on the phone, absolutely. And I'm not sure she's not in the same state or similar today. It's all addict behavior. And I can't imagine any child welfare agency would not be doing something about her drug use before she gets her kid back. She shouldn't be on these drugs and get her kid back. Yeah. So either they don't know about it or they don't know the seriousness of it or something. But I will call if it's okay, because I think they should know.
She is doctor hopping because no one psychiatrist, internist, or whoever would prescribe this list of medications because it is a deadly cocktail. Caitlin, Jennifer, and Kathy say they want to give Rebecca an ultimatum. Now, she's walked off. Maybe she'll come back. Maybe she won't. But somebody needs to get her attention. We'll be right back. And subscribe to our newsletter. You'll get weekly updates, life strategies, and exclusive video that you won't find anywhere else. Plus, on drphil.com, you can see sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today.
I have something that's called lupus anticoagulant clotting disorder. Basically, I had a blood clot in my hand. It got to the point where my fingers are black and necrotic and falling off.
I believe what happened is that she was injecting drugs in between her fingers, and that's what caused the clotting. She says that it's because of some autoimmune lupus. I don't necessarily believe that.
Rebecca was upset with some footage shown of her nodding off and left the stage just a few minutes ago. So whether she comes back or not, I don't know. But now what I need to do is talk to you three. At this point, you need to consider that if she does nothing but take her prescription drugs, that in my opinion, it's not a matter of if but when. It will take her life.
That's what we're most afraid of.
The lethality of the combination is going up, and so that has to be dealt with. Because as I said, she is an adult, so you don't have the ability to compel her to go into rehab or whatever like you would if she was 16 or 15 or 14. But you do have the option to move to do a 5150 or a Baker Act, whatever it's called in your state, to have an involuntary commitment where they will hold her for up to 72 hours for evaluation to determine whether she's a danger to herself or others. And if given her history and the fact that she acknowledges taking these drugs, I think she
meets criteria. Yeah.
She would certainly meet the criteria to be held. Now, the other option is to at least try to find out what doctors she's seeing. And under HIPAA, they can't tell you anything about her, but HIPAA doesn't take their ears off. They can listen, and you can take a medications list to them and say, you need to understand that you may be prescribing one of these medications. Here are the other 4 that she's taking, and these are the other doctors, and you might want to communicate with each other.
There's another option. She's now trapped in the child welfare system. She wants her child back. Call that caseworker, or I'll call and see, are they doing the due diligence they need to do to examine who's the doctor, where these are coming from?
Oh, I highly doubt it.
And so they need to be called because they won't release her to her mother until they get that, especially if you guys raise enough stink or I call.
And, you know, Kathy, the thing is, you're taking care of this daughter, and I said, God bless you for doing that. But I think the fastest route to getting you some help and support by getting your daughter back involved is to get her to confront the situation. Right. She can't change what she doesn't acknowledge. And look, people deal with and overcome this every day. Get clean and sober and stay clean and sober. She can overcome this.
She has.
She just needs to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And right now, I don't think I've met Rebecca. No. Because I don't think she's clean and sober sitting in this chair today. Did you?
Not at all. The brain chemicals in her brain are so twisted, she can't even understand what anybody is saying. Her judgment is so poor, she got up and left.
You have to try to get her to acknowledge what's going on. And when I started asking her hard questions, she ran. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe she'll watch this. Maybe she'll see it. Maybe social services will tell her, look, you're taking dangerous drugs. You need to get some help. And I will offer her some professional help.
That would be amazing.
But she has to be willing to do it. I'm not going to chase her, but if she leans into it, I will offer her some help. I will do that.
I hope she does.
Okay. And she doesn't like me asking her direct questions. Maybe you can take 5 minutes with her backstage, sit down and explain to her what the issue is here, and maybe she'll at least get off of this deadly cocktail, even if she doesn't want to face the realities right now. Maybe she'll talk to you, because she sure doesn't want to talk to me.
Okay.
But nonetheless, I stand ready to help her in a heartbeat if she leans into it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay? All right, Kathy? All right. I want to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to Dr. Sophie. For more information about today's episode, you can log on to Dr. Phil. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to my podcast, Phil in the